Hey guys, what's up? It's JOC back here again for another game preview, and this one is the NFC North tone setter. The Vikings are going back to Chicago to redeem their pitiful performances last year and see if they can redeem the 2018 squad and get a W against the Bears. So let's talk about it. And let's start off by just looking at the Bears on offense. This is where they're most vulnerable. This is where Minnesota Vikings fans can be the most optimistic because their offense is horrible. They're currently the 26th overall ranked offense as far as points per game at 16.7. 275 pass or total yards a game is 29th. 178.7 pass yards a game, 29th. And they can almost kind of sort of run the ball. 96.3 is 21st, so just under average to kind of still bad. So, a team that, as you see by yardage, cannot move the ball, but also, if they have a chance, they can't really score at all. So, this team is 100% dependent on their defense, whether it's to get turnovers and for the defense to score, or the defense just setting up good field position to their offense that can't move the ball at all, only has to go a little bit to score, and their special teams units to put them in space, put them in a position for their punter to pin the other team back, or the field goal kicker to double bang it through the uprights. So this is a team that really wants to be old school. As you know, Mitchell Trubisky's a horrible quarterback, but he's good at running. They have two solid running backs, too. So you'd expect their rushing numbers to be up at 21st with everything they have. A good offensive line, good running backs, good mobile quarterback is 21st. That is horrible for what they all have. So looking at their running backs, rookie David Montgomery, very highly touted coming into this draft class, and when the Bears signed him, or when they drafted him, it was such a big deal in training camp. They said he looked so good. Currently, unbelievably underperforming. 37 carries, 147 yards, and a 4.0 average. You aren't going to get it done with that. And then longtime veteran Tariq Cohen only has 8 carries, 16 yards, only 2 average there. He's more of their scat back, so you'd expect him to be more of a receiver, but you'd expect him to be able to burst it. Their number one rusher is ex-Viking Cordero Patterson, 7 carries, 62 yards, and 8.9 average. And if the Patriots game last year shows anything about how other teams like to use Patterson against us, I expect Patterson to get one big play. Hopefully it's not a kick return touchdown. But other than that, their running game is just pathetic. Even Trubisky's only had 5 carries on the year for 21 yards, along with only 8. So there's just not much to be really scared of offensively. If you can get them to pass the ball, so if the Vikings can get an early lead, this game will probably be over. Passing the ball, Mitchell Trubisky's this bad. He's has a 65% throwing, which is right around average, but only 5.6 yards per attempt, which is horrible. 3 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, along with 36, been sacked 8 times already. It's just not a good look for Trubisky through the air. He's extremely inaccurate despite the 65% rating. It's a lot of checkdowns to Cohen, as we'll see shortly. And if you can make the Bears pass, game over. So if you need to get them from behind, looking at the receivers, their only threat really is Allen Robinson, despite having a lot of talent out there. Everybody else is underperforming thus far, and also their quarterback kind of sucks. So 17 receptions for Robinson for 203 yards. And the only receiver that has got touchdowns is Taylor Gabriel. He has 3 on 9 receptions for 110 yards. So those are the 2 outside threats. Tariq Cohen, their scat back, has 12 receptions, 82 yards, but only 6.8 average. They'll be enough to get some drives going, and he's kind of their guy on third down in those short yard situations. But if you can stop the run on first and second, game over. Everson Griffin, Daniil Hunter, Don't let Trubisky run for it, and it's game over, and the Vikings can win this very early. But the scary part's on the other side. The Bears' defense. Their offense is horrible. Their defense is the exact opposite. This is a team that can rely solely on their defense and come through with some dubs. This team is 2-1 for a reason, and the reigning NFC North championship and the champions for the reason. So looking at their Bears, overall third-ranked defense, 13 points a game. They do let you move the ball a little bit, kind of like when we look at the Vikings defensively. 313.7 yards is 8th, 245 pass yards a game is 14th, and 68.7 rush yards a game is 5th, which is huge. That because the Vikings have been really good at running the football, so this will be a huge test. This is the test for our offensive line. As much as the Bears' losses last year, especially Week 17, were pinned on Kirk Cousins, you can put as much blame on the offensive line for being pathetic, getting pushed around by Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack. Despite them being all pros, you need a little bit better than a half an effort out there. And if we can get a good scheme you need to double team Khalil Mack every single play. And since we use two tight ends a lot, that should help with that. And just a couple receiver sets, and the Vikings should be okay. I do think this new scheme should help and remedy it. But looking at their defensive standouts, of course, Khalil Mack would already have 3 sacks on the year. One of the best defensive players in the league. Everybody talks about him all the time. Kyle Fuller, their number 1 cornerback. I don't know if he's worth shadowing anybody. He might shadow Stephon Diggs, even though he's another guy that hasn't done a whole lot thus far in this year. And then even their other guys, Eddie Jackson looked like the best safety in the NFC North last year. He's another guy that hasn't done a whole lot yet this year, but still a huge threat. Then really it comes down to the scariest player on their team for the Vikings is their big guy in the middle of their defense, in the middle of their defensive line, Akeem Hicks. You can't run through him. You don't want to run at him. So with the Vikings outside zone, just do that on the opposite way that where Khalil Mack is, and the Vikings should be able to run the ball okay in this one, at least much improved from what we did last year. So Dalvin Cook should still be okay with how elusive he has been. I expect the Vikings to use him a lot because, kind of like the Bears, if the Vikings have to pass the ball, it's probably game over for us too, because we have not looked good at all in that sense. So looking at the Vikings offensively, how can we combat this? Because despite our total offense being much better than the Bears, we are 7th and not in the 20s at 26 points a game. We are 31st, second worst in the league at passing, 164.7. So as of right now, just looking at team stats, you'd say, well, Mitch Trubisky is better than Kirk Cousins. A lot of that's because we've been running the ball so good. But 164 pass yards a game, will that be enough to beat the Bears? You have to look at that and maybe. I mean, their offense won't be moving the ball a whole lot either, and the Vikings do have 193.7 rush yards a game, which is second in the NFL. So a little bit of a imbalance as far as strengths of our team, but we have shown that when we get in the red zone, we do score. So this will be a very pounded up the middle, run the ball type of a game for both teams, and the Vikings defense can go up to the challenge. We're the 13th ranked rush defense, which is good enough. That's above average, and 6th ranked defense overall, 15.7 points in the game. So I do not think this will be I don't think either team will get over 21 points in this game. This will be just a grounded out, pounded out type of a game. The offensive linemen will earn their paycheck on this one. It's going to be a whole lot of butting heads. And it's going to be whichever team doesn't turn the ball over first and give the other offense a chance to score. Because this is a game where even if you turn the ball over on the other side of the 50-yard line and you set them up there to get 1 or 2 first downs and they can kick a field goal, That might be all the difference in this game. I don't see either team having a whole lot of luck going all 75 yards in this game and go all the way down the field after the touchback to score. So this one will be a battle of field position. Who can run the ball better? Who can get a few first downs and kick those field goals? And who can end one or two drives in the end zone for that touchdown? And since it's Soldier Field, since they have that huge home field advantage against the Vikings, where they could have the 0-16 Lions team and beat the 98 Vikings, since that home field advantage, since the Vikings and Kirk Cousins especially have struggled against them, this is just Kirk Cousins' nightmare, a team that forces turnovers, and he's a turnover machine. I think, prove me wrong, I think the Vikings drop this one. I think they will fight. It won't be as embarrassing as it was the 2 games last year. But I have the Vikings at 13, the Bears at 20. And I think this is one where the Vikings will have a chance, but Kirk Cousins might fumble a ball at the wrong time again. But give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. And do you think this is kind of a prove-it game for Kirk Cousins? Give me your thoughts. We'll see you guys in the next Josie Vikings video. See you guys then.